You're probably one of those people that say, I just need to get myself together and then I'll start. It comes out automatically now, a reflex, a way of keeping the dream alive without having to risk it on the actual world. Nobody's going to tell you you're lazy. That's not what this is. But someone needs to say the thing that's actually happening. You've built a life inside your head that is more detailed and more real than the one you're living. The business, the move, the creative work. You can feel the texture of it. You know exactly how it would go. And that knowing, that vivid, specific, almost physical sense of a future you haven't built yet, is the very thing keeping you from building it. Researcher Gabriela Oettingen at New York University found that people who spend the most time vividly imagining success are statistically less likely to pursue it. The brain produces a faint signal of completion just from the imagining. It rewards you before you've done anything. And that small reward is just enough to make staying still feel acceptable. Your brain has been handing you a trophy for a race you haven't run, and it feels so close to the real thing that your body can't always tell the difference. That's not weakness. That's the most human thing there is. This is where it gets specific. There's a version of you that lives in the planning phase permanently. Not because you lack intelligence or vision, because staying in the planning phase means the dream is still perfect, still possible, still entirely yours. The moment you start, it becomes real. And real things can fail. Real things can disappoint you. Real things can turn out smaller and messier than the version you carried so carefully in your head. What if I start and it turns out I'm not as capable as I thought? You've never said that out loud, but it's been running quietly in the background of every delay, every not yet, every almost. That fear isn't about laziness, it's about identity. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on self-concept found that people resist actions that conflict with how they secretly see themselves. If somewhere underneath the big dream, there's a quieter voice saying you're not someone who finishes things, your nervous system will protect that belief even when it's destroying you. Not because it wants you to fail, but because it knows that belief, and it trusts it. The dream is unfamiliar territory. The old story feels like solid ground. Stay with this one. Most advice tells you to find motivation. They tell you to get inspired, make a vision board. But motivation is the wrong target entirely. Motivation follows action. It doesn't precede it. You've been waiting to feel ready before you begin, when readiness is actually the thing that begins to build the moment you move. The next part is what nobody says directly enough. You're also, quietly, addicted to potential. And potential is a comfortable place to live. Talking about what you're going to do creates a real feeling of identity and possibility. It's exciting in a way that the slow, repetitive, unglamorous actual work almost never is. So you stay attached to who you could be, because facing who you are right now, sitting still, plan untouched, feels harder than the dream ever did. If you've named your dream to someone and felt a small rush just from saying it out loud, you already know what I mean. Drop that in the comments. Just tell me what the dream is. One line. Here's the plain version of all of this. You don't have an action problem. You have a safety problem. The dream is safe inside your head. It hasn't been judged. It hasn't shrunk on contact with reality. It hasn't met the gap between your vision and your current ability. Starting means all of that becomes possible. And some part of you decided, without ever deciding it consciously, that a perfect unstarted dream is worth more than a real imperfect attempt. That part of you is wrong, but it learned to be this way from somewhere real. Every time you tried something and it didn't land the way you hoped, every time someone's reaction didn't match your internal vision of how it would go, that part took notes. It's been protecting you ever since. Loyally, quietly, expensively. The cost is the life sitting just on the other side of one bad first attempt. You don't need more planning. You don't need better timing. you need 30 seconds of moving before you're ready. Because ready is not a feeling that arrives. It's a feeling you build by going anyway. The dream is real. The capability is real. The only thing between you and it is the decision to let it be imperfect and started, instead of perfect and still. Start badly. Start now. The version of you that begins messy is already ahead of the one still waiting. Tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you've been planning the longest? Just name it. Nothing else needed. If this one landed, subscribe and turn on notifications. Next video I should be dropping is about why intelligent people self-sabotage right before the finish line, not at the start, right before the end. That pattern will change how you read your own behavior.